It was the end of a stormy, dark, windy, and cold day. Everyone was getting into their houses to rest. Virgilio was a young guy who was studying his career on psychology, which all his family had studied. That night Virgilio had had a fight with his parents and he went to look refuge to an old house on the hill, which was of his family, but there lived a friend of him. His name was Bartolo. Virgilio arrived to the house, and Bartolo was surprised to see him. While they were chatting, Virgilio had an idea. He called Caroline, his best friend from college, and he invited her to dinner and watch movies together. Once Caroline arrived, the three of them started eating their dinner. After half an hour, Caroline and Virgilio had finished their meal, but Bartolo had barely eaten his meal. After that, Virgilio and Caroline went to the living room to watch a movie, and Bartolo went to sleep. After 15 minutes of the movie, they heard a really strong and noisy sound on Bartolo's bedroom. Virgilio told Caroline to wait for him in the meantime, that he was going to investigate. He arrived to the bedroom of Bartolo and he saw nothing strange, except that Bartolo was not there. Virgilio did not pay attention to that, and returned with Caroline. But when he arrived to the living room, Caroline was not there. Then he started to scream her name to see where she was, but there was no response. As the house was huge, he spent 30 minutes looking for Caroline and Bartolo. Then, he saw an old entrance which he did not remember to see it before. He entered in there and saw a dark and creepy hallway. Once he got to the last part of the hallway, he entered into the room, a creepy and scary room full of axes, skulls, ropes, and terrifying devices. Virgilio was very scared when he saw Caroline tied up to a table. He felt very frightened. He followed his instincts and tried to untie Caroline, but when he tried to do it, Caroline was really scared. He kept on trying to untying her. When he finally set free to Caroline, she started screaming and running to the exit. Virgilio went right behind her and asked her who did that, but Caroline did not answer and kept running. Virgilio turned his head around to see who was at the end of the hallway, and he saw Bartolo coming after them. Then he understood everything, that Bartolo made the sounds to distract him and take Caroline. What he could not understand was why Caroline was ignoring him. When they finally got to the end of the hallway, Virgilio saw Caroline still running, and he reached her, to help her fight Bartolo, but when he took Caroline's shoulder, she started to attack him. He tried to calm her down but she wouldn't listen. "Leave me alone, don't attack me again," Caroline yelled at him. "Let me go." Virgilio was not understanding what she was saying, but still he answered, "I am going to help you to fight Bartolo." She was so scared that she was shaking. They stood up and they saw Bartolo coming to their way. The last thing Virgilio saw was a punch on his face. When he woke up again, they were on the basement, where there were some skulls, a book of spells, some instruments to make sacrifices, and Caroline was tied again to the table. Bartolo was getting ready for the upcoming sacrifice while Virgilio was laying on the ground, still confused about his friend's reaction. He started screaming to Bartolo why he was doing this, but he did not respond. Then Virgilio started to cry and screamed, "Let us go, we haven't done anything to you." Virgilio was very insistent with his imploring. But then Bartolo started to say for himself, "Family is first, I'll take care of them, they want me to do it, I need to keep with this pact." While Bartolo was saying this, Virgilio took a knife and silently went to attack Bartolo, but when he tried to kill him, the knife just went through. Then he faced a mirror and saw Bartolo reflected on the mirror. Then it all came to his mind, why he fought with his family, how when he was a child, they came to this house with always one person who was never seen again, and what his parents asked him to do. Why he and his family had always been rich. He started to remember the stories his parents used to told him when child, about how the devil was friendly with his family, but it always were a price to pay, and that one day, he would be the one on charge to pay it. In this occasion, he needed to finish his duty, which he did. After that night, Caroline was never seen again.